Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Karl Sona. Karl is the Chief Revenue Officer of Streamlined Podcast. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Karl Sona.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. It's great to join you on your show, man. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you so much, Karl. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to become a chief revenue officer at Streamlined Podcast?
Yeah, well, to answer that question well, I have to give a little bit of background as far as where I come from. And I actually come from the corporate world. I worked for a medical device startup company for a number of years, and I ran a sales team based out of the Southeast. I was actually in Atlanta for quite a while. And while traveling for the startup company, I really started to immerse myself in podcasts as I was trying to learn certain skills to build, a sustainable business on my own. Because I believe that if you're in a corporate structure, it's a great way to sustain your lifestyle. It's a great way to take care of your most basic needs, but ultimately you're building somebody else's dream. I really do feel as though you need to have something outside of a corporate world that really allows you the time and freedom ownership that a lot of us are looking for. And that's what I wanted so badly. So started attending seminars because I was listening to a variety of real estate podcasts. And, the beautiful thing that happened, Mohammed, was I started getting in higher caliber rooms. What I mean by that was I was all of a sudden, working and networking with folks that were doing several $1 million deals, apartment deals. And I started seeing how real it was to take down some of these assets. So amidst me trying to gain the knowledge and building some of the relationships, with some of these players in the investing space, I soon became, in a position myself to start doing deals with certain people. And it just sort of took off from there, man. So the biggest thing for me was just getting in new rooms and having my eyes open to what other possibilities existed for myself outside of the corporate realm. And that's really what got me ultimately into the space of helping business owners and real estate investors with their podcasts. A lot of people are leveraging podcasts to build a thought leadership platform to network more effectively. And I recognized that there was a need. The need was the post-production side of things. If you really want to do well in this business, if you really want to stay consistent for your audience, you have to look professional. And a lot of people that come into this space, they never intend for it to be a first career. They don't. You don't come into this space to learn how to do the audio editing, to learn how to put together a nice background like what you have here. You come because you have a message and you have an ability to communicate it. And that's what my company now does for people.
Oh, that is amazing, Carl. You are able to do this with your best hairstyle in the world, man.
I know. I started rocking this hairstyle about 6 years ago. It's crazy how time flies, but I think it suits me very well. My girlfriend doesn't complain.
Wonderful. Hey, Carl, because you are the chief revenue officer at Streamlined Podcast, is that okay?
Yes.
I ask you some tough questions because many business owners are looking for how they can increase revenue, what mistakes they can avoid. And okay, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go, Mohammed.
So give me your best ones. Okay, I go by Siddique. You can call me Siddique. I don't really care. Okay.
Perfect.
So, Carl, what are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when it comes to increasing a revenue?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this simple. The first one to avoid is not tapping into your power base. What do I mean by your power base? I mean some of the warm network relationships that you've amassed over the years. It always amazes me how little some people speak to their friends, to their family, to people that they've done business with in the past about what it is they're doing now. And oftentimes those could be some of the people that are looking to pivot in business that may need your products or your services. I can give you a perfect example. When I got into the podcasting space with this business, one of the first people I called was my general partner that I had done several real estate transactions with, John Kasman. Said, John, this is what I'm looking to do. This is who I'm looking to serve. This is what the product and the service is going to look like. Would you have any interest in this? And unfortunately, he didn't, because he already had his own in-house team, but he was a great advocate for me. And he introduced me to several other investors in this space that I was able to help. So that's the first thing. You have to work your power base. You have to let people know what it is you're up to, right? Number two, you need a very clear and concise message. It always makes me cringe when people don't really clearly understand who it is they serve and what problem that individual is having, right? It's not enough to try to be something for everybody. Not everybody wants to buy your product or your service, right? But if you can get very clear on who the individual is, what does their day look like? What is their age? What is their demographic? What does their day-to-day look like, right? And then you can tailor a message that concisely speaks to those challenges. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, man. You are going to be able to open up the floodgates when it comes to driving revenue. Because all of a sudden, when people hear you speak about the problems that they're facing in their life on a daily basis, they're like, oh my God, Siddique, Karl, those guys know what I'm going through. All of a sudden, I want to exchange dollars for a potential solution that they have, right?
Yeah.
So I can't overemphasize the need for people to take the time to get very clear about who they're serving and what problem they're having. Number three, we now need to focus on scale. So once you've worked your warm base, once you know who you're, helping, what problem they have, you need to scale that message out as best as you can. And we've done that from a variety of ways. One of the ways that we've done this very effectively has been through having a very strong affiliate program. In other words, if I have 70 plus clients that I'm serving and they know, they each know two other people that have a similar type of a desire or that look up to them, word of mouth referral is, in my opinion, by far one of the best ways to drive revenue, because you automatically are coming into some of these conversations with a know, like, and trust, which gives you a tremendous amount of credibility with the prospect that you're speaking with to ultimately go further. So those would be my three secrets from that standpoint, Siddique.
So these are the three mistakes to avoid. People don't have the affiliate relationships, like they don't create an affiliate program. So there's
Correct.
not somebody to share with you. Yeah, okay.
Exactly. I feel as though people focus a lot on building funnels and things of that nature, which is fantastic. And we can talk more about that because we're also doing something similar in our business. But they oftentimes fail to build a pitch deck or a funnel for their actual affiliates to help those folks come in. Yeah.
Understood. So, Karl, you are not as good as you think. You are better.
I think I work hard every single day to chase my best self. So yes.
I don't trust you on that. I need to ask your significant other to find out how hard you are working.
She'll tell you I work too much.
So you know what? You will get the same answer from my side too. So we are on the same board. So
you're perfect. Two peas in a pod.
Karl, what's your greatest failure story in business? More specifically, if you can, in the revenue generation or something, so that way, because you are the chief revenue officer, that's why I'm asking, what's your greatest failure story? What did you learn from it and how did you recover from that?
Yeah. So this probably goes back to my early entrepreneur days, which I'm still very early in my journey, in my opinion, because I'm always learning something new. I never feel like I'm a Jedi master. But when I first started figuring out businesses online in the online space, e-commerce, I launched a brand, a health and wellness brand, where essentially I was selling pink Himalayan sea salt via Amazon and via Shopify store. It was a company called Today's Health Styles. And I was wearing all the hats at that point in time. And the thing that I failed to do in that business was I failed to really do proper customer development in order to prove that there was a need and a desire for the product in the market. I just didn't. And so why this is my greatest failure, Siddique, is why the hell would you invest a tremendous amount of money, time, energy, resources going blindly into a market trying to sell something that you don't actually know people actually want, or you don't actually know it actually solves a problem that people have, right? So I was putting so much energy for over 9 months, really trying to push this e-commerce brand, and it never went anywhere. And I call it a greatest failure because as I look back on, all the things that I've been able to accomplish from that point onward to my life today, man, I really could have used those 9 months to invest, in some of the things that I feel like I've got more clarity on. So it really robbed me of time. And as you know, time is our greatest and most precious resource. So now what I've learned from it is I do heavy due diligence before moving into any opportunity. If it's a real estate transaction, of course, or if it's a new partnership, I am talking to people that could be my ideal customers. There's an awesome book that I have here. It's called Customer Development, and I can plug in the link, for your audience later. But it essentially walks business owners and salespeople like ourselves through how to actually do proper customer development in order to prove if your hypothesis is actually something that is valid. And I think that if more salespeople and more business owners take the time to flesh that process out, they're going to definitely increase their chance of success on the back end.
Wonderful. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's switch the side and talk about your successes. What are your top 3 success secrets? Promise me you're going to give us your best ones, okay?
Yeah. I would say one of my top successes has been coming on with the medical device company as a very early stage employee and helping them sell the business for over 9 figures. We just closed that transaction a couple of months. We were bought out for about an 8x multiple to a big Japanese company. And mind you, I was selling a very high-end technology that helped physicians diagnose lung cancer earlier. So it was very awesome to help that company, mature throughout all the, stages and some of the growing pains being a young startup company. Number 2, greatest success, I would say, would be starting Streamlined podcasts. I have the privilege of speaking to literally tens, if not 20, business owners on a weekly basis that are able to grow their message, which ultimately leads to more revenue coming into their business because we have offloaded some of the burden around podcast production for them. And our goal is not just podcast production. We are going to be releasing so many various services here that will essentially position us as a one-stop shop to help them drive revenue holistically within their businesses. So that's been a very, very great pleasure of mine. And number 3, not necessarily business related, I would say meeting my lovely lady. She balances me out and she gives me the energy that I need to show up every single day to do what I do best. And I think that's another component that all too often, as salespeople or chief revenue officers or entrepreneurs, we fail to realize that we ourselves are an asset. And what we do away from the desk or away from, just the exchange of business is going to ultimately set us up to be even more successful, as far as our day-to-day tasks go. So those would be my top 3 successes.
Wonderful. So let's say I have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I am already doing with my in-house team or doing myself or something, because that's what people are watching this, they see it. Many podcasters watch my show.
Yeah.
And so why even I should switch with you? People don't like change.
Yeah. So, anytime I'm speaking to a prospect, I always consider cost of change because it's a real concern that a lot of people have. And ultimately, human beings are always more adverse to change because they're more worried about what they're going to lose versus what they're going to gain.
Yeah. So
I would sit down with you guys and I would try to better understand where some open gaps are in your process. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my process and my company is right for you, Mohammed.
Yeah.
I can't say that. So I need to better understand what the process is, and I need to find any areas that we can further optimize. But what I can tell you is more and more real estate investors and real estate professionals, business owners in general, are understanding the true value and the positive impact that having a podcast has relative to supplementing their main business. And so if you've been thinking about it for a long time, but you've been concerned about what physical technology you need or not having the adequate support or the resources to help you on the back end, that's who we perfectly serve. Our goal is to get individuals like that out of the audience and into the host chair as quickly as possible. And I know that my company is best positioned for that individual. It goes back to what I shared with you very early on in the podcast, right? We are very clear on who we serve and what problem they have. So for somebody established like you, you're probably great, to be honest. Maybe we can, work out some sort of a partnership or joint venture. But for an individual that's looking at you, they tune in to your show every single morning. They're like, oh my God, Mohammed is talking with billionaires. He's talking with people like Karl. I'd like to do something similar. That's who I can help. Come and see me, and I'll get you going much quicker than any other guru or course can ever get you going.
Wonderful. Streamlinedpodcast.com. You know the pitch now from Karl. And I love the pitch. I looked at your website too, and it's amazing. You owe it to yourself. If you have been watching my show, you see how the hell this guy with an accent doesn't even speak clear English, speaks fast, and I'm better looking than him. Go for it. Don't look at me. Just visit the website. You can put you in a competition with me, which is okay. I love it because you will be my next friend anyway. That's why I'm looking for
Yes. And I want to say, Mohammed, as a thank you for having me on the show and bringing me in front of the audience. For anybody that's in Mohammed's audience that would like to know a little bit more, that's serious about this, we'll have a special link below for you where you can save some additional money on a package, and I can do a free consultation for you. Just use code Siddique, and we can take it from there.
Yeah. Okay. Streamlinedpodcast.com. Karl, we are about to wrap up. I'd like to have a few words about your today's guest experience on the show. What would you say about your today's guest experience on Growth Hacking Secrets?
Oh my God. I felt as though I was like a Hollywood, movie star. I came on the show and Mohammed rolled out a red carpet. He had my name in red. Karl Sona, he had my company branded everywhere on this video cast. And it just made me feel very special, made me feel very welcome. And I honestly just genuinely from the bottom of my heart enjoyed the conversation with Mohammed. You have such a great way of just, engaging in great banter, but also still extracting, nuggets of value that hopefully are going to help even a few people listening to this. So Mohammed, keep doing great stuff. And I look forward to hopefully doing something more with you in the future.
Thank you for your kind words. Really appreciate it. Karl, what would you say as a final word?
As a final word, I want everybody listening to start flexing their muscle relative to betting on themselves. More people need to become comfortable with trusting themselves. And it ultimately comes down to confidence, within yourself. And confidence within yourself comes from making little promises to yourself and honoring them every single day. So if you're trying to find success secrets, make a promise to yourself. Read just a few pages of Mohammed's book every single day to improve. And over the course of time,
we're talking about this one.
we're talking about new success secrets from Siddique. And over the course of time, that consistency will compound into beautiful things, and you'll really be able to step into who you were meant to be. We're all put here for incredible things. Don't rob yourself or the people that you can help in this world of that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karl, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.